you very much indeed. Very good afternoon to you. Somebody's been looking over her shoulder. Yes, there is a significant change on the way. This is snowfall, and there could well be some of it. Not in the short term, I have to say. The rest of the week rather sort of continues in a similar vein to the first half of the week. We've had it fairly mild for the time of year. There have been bits and pieces of rain. We'll keep it going that way. The weekend is a real transition phase between that mild stuff, something slightly colder but slightly brighter coming in, and then it's next week where we're fairly confident at the moment things will turn a good deal colder across the whole of the British Isles, and there may well be some significant snowfall, not wall-to-wall by any means, but for some areas. And the best advice I can give you is that if you're thinking about travelling next week, then probably best to check out the forecast over the weekend and the first part of next week just to see where that snow is going to fall. Now, let's just show you the order of the change. Think of this colour scheme, temperatures above the seasonal average, double figures for most. See that in the short term it gets a bit milder tomorrow, and then we start draining those colours out. The greens fade away to lighter greens, the blues darken to darker blues, indicating that fall in temperatures. And the reason for it is a change in wind direction. At the moment it's all mild, moist coming in from the Atlantic. Friday, plenty of westerlies getting into the western side of the British Isles. And see here, into next week, it's not just Scotland, it's right down across the British Isles. We will all feel that distinct change to something colder. So that's a long way off at the moment. Let's come back to this afternoon. And there's a lot of clouds piling in from the Atlantic, and we're really looking for a little bit of brightness to offer you a wee bit of hope. And parts of the Midlands, perhaps some along the south coast there. My banker at the moment is over on the eastern side of Scotland. There are some gaps. There have been gaps this morning. I think they'll be there again this afternoon. But at the same time, the western areas just thickening the cloud up later on. And I think come evening, we'll see more in the way of rainfall getting in there as the next band of weather gradually works its way in from the Atlantic. Quite a bit of rain on this, and it stretches all the way down into the southwestern corner of the British Isles. So a pretty wet start for many. Perhaps Northern Ireland will have seen its rain overnight. The western side of Scotland faring quite nicely too. And then just when you thought you were out of the woods across Wales and the southwest of England, more rain piling back in during the course of the afternoon. A pretty wet and dirty affair there with mist and murk around about the coast on what is going to be another mild day. And as we get on into sort of Thursday, Friday time, we've got these bands of weather coming at us. There's Thursday. The tail end of Friday has got to come in. It's the back end of that lump of cloud. So yet another band of cloud and rain working its way in towards the British Isles, taking away what will have been quite a dry start in eastern areas. And then don't forget, as we get on into the weekend, that's the transition phase. Forget double-figure temperatures. We start to see some really blustery showers, turning increasingly wintry across the north and west. And then watch out for next week, Anna, because that's when it turns much, much colder.